Hoosiers looking destined for their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2010, but in their way now is the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, looking for the upset tonight. They will start with the serve with Byzantine. And that one can't get over the net. A service error leads to the first point for Indiana. We talked to a member of the Rutgers staff. She mentioned Scarlet Knights are aggressive when they serve. That's what she said, and it'll lead to some aces and some errors, and we saw an error there as Krichkovich will serve now for Indiana. Hers gets in, but it's going to be a free ball back for the Hoosiers. Krichkovich over to Tatum, and she gets it off the block and out, and it's quickly 2-0 Hoosiers.
Well, we just saw there from the Scarlet Knights a service error, not something you can have against the number 17th ranked Indiana Hoosiers, especially on the road.
Mistakes have to be minimized if you're the Scarlet Knights. Krichkovich's serve dug out, cross court, and Krichkovich will keep it up. Freeman, Jaeger along the line, a nice dive there. And that one's blocked and down for another point for Indiana. They're quickly up 3-0.
Well, the Hoosiers, if they can control this early lead in the first set, can lead to great things, but the Hoosiers just looking dominant at the net here, Ryan.
So far, that's how it's been. Krichkovich will serve again. This one almost an ace, but able to get it back over. Krichkovich, Tatum will go short, and that one's going to find its way out. And Indiana unstoppable for the first 4 points. And they've just been able to make Rutgers uncomfortable here early. Krichkovich continuing her serve. That one's going to be a service error, and that gives Rutgers their first point of this first set. It's 4-1.
Well, the Hoosiers doing a great job with Avery Tatum at the corners. Krichkovich with the service error. Let's see if the Scarlet Knights can be aggressive.
Hardison will be serving. Try to go cross court. It's dug out by Jaeger in the middle. Blocked. Howell with the block on Sell. And Rutgers gets a couple to cut the lead in half. It's 4-2 Indiana. Hardison will serve again. Goes cross court to Jaeger. Krichkovich back to Jaeger. Off the block and out. And Indiana gets a point back. It's 5-2. Jaeger had been targeted there on both of those serves. She's the benefit there, and she'll serve now herself. The talented freshman that we talked about in the open. Gets that one just over the net. It's dug out. Blocked. Rejected. Tatum and Sell. No room for Garvey. And Indiana gets those 2 points back. Ended up being Tatum who gets the block. 6-2 with Jaeger serving again. That one's dug out. Chance for a free ball kept on the Rutgers side. Jaeger to Krichkovich to Corthéas. The block just wasn't there, and you can't do that against a player as talented as Candela Alonso Corthéas, and Indiana's jumped out 7-2.
Yeah, Corthéas just so good there, reaching the top step and slamming it down on the court. Hoosiers lead by 5 early.
Jaeger again, that one's going to hit the net. Another service error. 3 service errors so far in the game combined. 1 from Rutgers, now 2 from Indiana. And it's 7-3. Another chance for the Scarlet Knights to try to claw back into this first set. It'll be Bolin who will serve for the Scarlet Knights. Hers is dug out by Jaeger. Krichkovich over to Tatum. It was behind her. She's able to get it over. That one goes short and finds the floor. The play there from Howell gets another point for Rutgers.
Well, Howell standing at 6'5" is going to be a force at the center of the net. The Hoosiers definitely need to get both Sell and Tatum on the corner of the net there.
That one just dug out, but it gets to the Rutgers side of the net, and the point's going to go the way of the Scarlet Knights. So now another little run for Rutgers. They're back within 2 at 7-5 as that one, it found the floor, but there was a net violation that gave the point to Rutgers. That serve gets over, dug out by Jaeger. Krichkovich, Tatum, that one deflected, kept alive. and attempt to be dug out by Jackson, but instead it goes off of her and out of bounds. And quickly Rutgers is back within 1.
We got the Scarlet Knights winning 3 straight points here. See if they can continue their run on the road.
Jaeger been targeted a lot. Krichkovic to Cortheus. Indiana would be happy to do that as much as they can. There was, again, not much of a block in front of her, and Cortheus found an empty part of the floor to put Indiana back up by 2. Temporary delay, but we're ready again with Lethbridge to serve. Dug out by Byzantine. That one through the block and down. And instead, no, it is down for a Rutgers point, and they're back within 1.
Yeah, Garvey doing so well to rise up and directly usher that ball across the court for the point. Scarlet Knights definitely still in striking distance early.
They came to play looking for an upset win on the road. That serve Cortheus. Nice play to keep it alive, at least make a manageable ball. And that's a block for Cortheus. That one Jaeger keeps alive. Now over to Cortheus. She gets it to the Rutgers side. And across and down. Maxwell ties it back up at 8.
Well, we talked about her in the open. Aspen Maxwell leads this team in kills, tied for 11th in the Big Ten. She just rises up there again, ties us up at 8. But Aspen Maxwell stamping her mark early on this game.
That serve couldn't be handled by Cortheus, and the Scarlet Knights take the 9-8 lead. The serve from Wilcock could not be handled by the Hoosiers. We talked about how they were going to be aggressive on their serves. They've had an error, but they've given some trouble to the Hoosiers now. This one's dug out by Cortheus. Krichkovic over to Tatum. Free ball for Indiana and back down. Victoria Gray took the opportunity, and there was nobody there for the Scarlet Knights, tied at 9 again.
A great hit there from Gray, the 6'2" freshman.
It'll be Tatum now to serve. That one dug out. That's blocked. The chance from Maxwell. Now to the near side, deflected, and it finds its way down out. So the block there for the Hoosiers, but Rutgers able to benefit and regain the lead 10-9.
Big group substitution for the Hoosiers. Out of the game goes Tatum, who's played a big role for the Hoosiers so far in this first set.
That serve dug out by Jackson. Now Cortheus gets the deflection, and it finds the ground again to equalize at 10 now. So back and forth here in the first set.
Well, it's about who's going to separate themselves here in the latter half of the first set.
Cortheus will serve. She gets that one over. A quick one. Dug out, tried to go quick. Krichkovic keeps it alive, and that one is going to go the way of the Scarlet Knights. It was a little bit hectic as Krichkovic tried to send it over on the second touch, and Rutgers blocked that, and they regain the lead 11-10. And speaking of 10, it'll be Kalama Badgett to serve for the Scarlet Knights. Krichkovic, and with the fire in the middle, Victoria Gray out of nowhere snipes it in the middle of the court and ties us at 11.
Well, look at this. Gray just rises up, finds that empty area in the middle of the court. And like you just mentioned, ties us right back up at 11.
Another freshman, Avery Freeman, served there. That one hits the block. Freeman is able to dig it out. Krichkovic over to Jaeger. Jaden Jaeger goes cross court and gives Indiana the lead in the first set.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, freshman Jaden Jaeger making her point for Big Ten Freshman of the Year.
Freeman Her serve handled by Rutgers, but that one hits the net and then finds its way out of bounds. A nice play there from Jaeger to let it go, and Indiana regains the 2-point lead in the first set. And Freeman will serve again. As I mentioned, the freshman, a Bloomington North product, so just up the road in town. To the near side, that's deflected and dug out by Freeman. In the middle, Cortheus off the block and out of bounds for another point for the Hoosiers.
Well, that's now 3 straight points for the Hoosiers to take back the lead. Seems like they have all the momentum right now in Wilkinson Hall.
Yeah, Sell with the fake out, and then Cortheus comes out of nowhere. Freeman will serve again. That one hits the net and finds the ground. A service ace for Freeman. I don't know if she could do that again if she tried. But nonetheless, it's another point for the Hoosiers. They're up 4, and it's going to force.
17th in the country, 21-5. It's the best season he's had as the head coach of the Hoosiers. And they look to carry all the momentum into the postseason.
And out of the timeout, some momentum going back to Rutgers. That one couldn't be handled by Freeman, and they cut the lead back down to 3. It's 15-12, and Rutgers already came back from a couple 4-point deficits in this set. They'll try to do it again. That hard serve dug out. Krichkovich in the middle to Sell. That one deflected off the net. Right in the middle, the 3-player block sends it back. Now cross-court blocked. Jaden Jaeger. That hasn't always been her game, but she's there, sends the block cross-court, and gets the point back for the Hoosiers.
Well, just look at this. Jaeger rising up right at the net, getting the block, and ultimately the point. She's just a freshman making that play. Absolutely insane.
Krichkovich had the serve for Indiana, and that one off of Cortheus will find its way out for another point for the Scarlet Knights. That was Garvey who sent it over. It's 16-13, back down to a 3-point advantage for Indiana. The Hoosiers have had chances to pull away, but they haven't been able to get a lead more than 4 so far in this first set. That serve dug out by Cortheus. Krichkovich over to Jaeger. That one a little long. It's sent back. That might have been good for Indiana. Jaeger again will go short, and that's a smart play from the freshman to get the point back for the Hoosiers. The block was very aggressive, and there was nobody there on the far side.
Well, look at this. Jaeger just dinks it over the net, finds that empty court space, and the Hoosiers get another point.
She gets rewarded with the serve here for Indiana. She gets that one over, and it's scrambling was Rutgers. They're able to get it back onto the Indiana side. Now Cortheus, it's dug out. What a dig. Back again to Sell. That's blocked, but it goes out of bounds. The point's going to go the way to Indiana, but that was a really impressive rally from the Scarlet Knights, keeping it alive, and they're going to call timeout as they go down 18-13, the largest deficit of this first set. Indiana trying to get a big upset win here in Bloomington. Jaeger's serve hits the net and goes down for another service ace. That's the second time that the Hoosiers have benefited from an ace like that in this first set.
Seems like Jaeger's just benefiting from everything here today. The freshman has just been so good all season long. And in this first set, it's being put on display for us right in front of our eyes.
Well, into the match is Charlotte Vinson, the freshman. She serves with fire. You could see the speed on that one. That one hits the block and goes out of bounds for a point for the Scarlet Knights. They get one back. It's back within 5. Tara Garvey was able to get that one to go off the block and out of bounds. Trying to get the Scarlet Knights back into this one. Dug out by Jaeger. Krichkovich in the middle to Sell. Kind of short arms it. And that one is the previously mentioned Aspen Maxwell. Fires it to the near corner. And Rutgers gets a couple of points. They're back within 4.
Maxwell gets her 3rd kill in this first set.
Krichkovich, now Tatum. Blocked but kept alive. Now in the middle, Imani Howell with power straight.
Season for the senior now as she looks to etch her name in Indiana volleyball history.
Tatum cannot be handled by De La Mater and gets a point back for the Hoosiers out of the timeout. Steve Aird was talking to the team during the timeout. You'd imagine telling them to calm down, play their game. The Rutgers was able to go on that three-point run, and they get one back immediately. And now into serve is Lethbridge. Across and blocked. Tatum and Gray were there, and they say no way. It was Victoria Gray who ended up getting the block, and Indiana gets 2 of those points back. They're up by 5. They need 4 more to finish out the first set if they can. Lethbridge serve, handled. In the middle, blocked. Did it go out? No, it didn't. It stays in. Back here in Wilkinson Hall, Indiana back underway after the timeout from Rutgers. They went on a 3-point run. Now in the middle, that one hits the net and goes down for another point for the Hoosiers. And so far, it's been Jaden Jager who's been all over the court for Indiana.
Well, Jager, she's all over the stat sheet for the Hoosiers this year. 2nd in kills, 3rd in assists, and she's a freshman. Steve Aird has a superstar on his hands.
Krichkovich over to Cortheus. And it hit the Rutgers player in the face. Cortheus asking if she's all right. That one had a lot of power on it. That ended up hitting her in the shoulder, thankfully. But Indiana now 1 point away from closing out this first set. Lethbridge serve goes long. It's going to be a service error, and Rutgers stays alive. It's 24-17. Scarlet Knights need a run here to miraculously come back in this first set, but we've seen from this Scarlet Knights team, they have been resilient. And despite the record, the talent is there. That serve, Cortheus to Krichkovich in the middle, Gray. It's kept alive. Now on the near side, that's blocked. Sent back over and out, and Indiana wins the first set, 25-17. They showed out. It'll be Krichkovich to serve for the Hoosiers to start the second set. Dugout near the net, gonna be tapped down. It's Avery Tatum with the heads-up play, and Indiana gets the first point of the second set.
Well, the 6'2" senior there just rising up, getting her hands above the net, and sending that ball right back down on the hardwood.
Krichkovich will serve again. Dugout with some spin. Now on the near side, that one's going to go way long and out. And another point for the Hoosiers. That was mishit by Maxwell. Maxwell's been a key for Rutgers so far this season, and when she's off, they've struggled. And so far, just a little bit off, especially on that one going high. It's a 2-0 lead for the Hoosiers. Krichkovich again. Just dug out. Now in the middle, Freeman able to keep it up. Tatum deflected, kept alive, and miscommunication from the Scarlet Knights. No one went for it. It looked like it was Maxwell who was the closest, but that's not usually her job. She let it go, thinking that the setter was on her way, ran into some traffic.
Yeah, just a miscommunication between Byzantine and Maxwell. Maxwell wanted Byzantine to set her up there. Ultimately did not happen, and the Scarlet Knights are down early.
That one dug out by Cortheus to Freeman. Jager's blocked. Freeman, Krichkovich, now Tatum, double deflected, and a quick 4-0 lead for the Hoosiers in the second set.
Well, Avery Tatum has been so good here today, obviously early in set 2, but again, making her mark here in Wilkinson Hall. Hoosiers leading early in this second set.
Krichkovich handled easily, now in the middle. That set not exactly where they wanted it. Freeman over to Jager. Did that one take a touch? Yes, it did. It's another point for the Hoosiers. It's 5-0. Indiana didn't get Krichkovich to set like they normally do on that one, but still able to get the point from Jager. And just like the first set, Krichkovich has to serve a lot here early. That one up high. Cortheus, Krichkovich, Jager again. Jaden Jager And the Hoosiers are unstoppable so far. In the
some of these close games in Big Ten Conference play.
They played that first set close until the end. Now it's a 6-0 lead for the Hoosiers at the start of the second set. Krichkovic still serving. That one diving, but it's going to go out of bounds. That's another miscommunication for the Scarlet Knights. And the Hoosiers up 7-0 in the second set. Krichkovic will go again. Substitution for Rutgers. Just haven't been able to get anything going so far in the second set. Krichkovic goes short to the near side, just kept alive. Now across and out, but it took a deflection, and Rutgers gets their first point of the second set.
It's great play by Aspen Maxwell to rise up and get the kill for the Scarlet Knights. Takes a deflection, but the Scarlet Knights are on the board here in the second set.
Yeah, that one just off the arms of Sell, who was right at the net trying to get the block. So 7-1 now. Wilcock will serve for Rutgers. That one dug out to Krichkovic. Now in the middle, Cortheus flying in the middle of the court. Candela Alonza Cortheus gets the point back for the Hoosiers, and Jaden Jaeger will serve.
Well, just look at that. She levitates at the middle of the court, finds that open area, and just pummels the ball down for the point. Hoosiers up big early.
Jaeger's serve handled. Now cross court blocked, and it gets down inbounds. Another point for the Hoosiers. They're up 9-1. The combination block doing wonders for Indiana.
Well, these are two seniors, two people who have been in this program for a long time. Sell and Tatum combining at the corner there for the point.
Jaeger still serving. That one just over the net. In the middle, that one didn't look like it got over the net. I'm not sure it was a block. Nonetheless, another point for the Hoosiers, and they take a commanding 10-1 lead here in the second set. That was Howell who puts a lot of speed on it, but couldn't get it over the net. Jaeger serve handled, goes across, blocked again. Sell and Tatum were there. I think Sell got it this time. Indiana up 11-1.
Well, when you pair Maddie Sell and Avery Tatum at the net, it's going to be a difficult task for the opponent. For the Scarlet Knights in this second set, it's been near impossible.
Jaeger serves again. That one, Jaeger couldn't handle, sends it to the 6th row of the bleachers. Another point for Rutgers coming from Aspen Maxwell, who leads the team in kills, as we've mentioned, the sophomore from Houston, Texas. So 11-2 now, Hoosiers, as Rutgers gets another one back. De La Mater will serve, and Cortheus can't handle it. A service ace for the Scarlet Knights, courtesy of Jenna De La Mater. She'll get another shot to try to crawl the Scarlet Knights back into this one. This time it's again not handled. It was Audrey Jackson who wasn't quite there for Indiana, and another service ace for Jenna De La Mater. 11-4. And Cortheus can't handle it again. That's 3 service aces in a row for De La Mater.
Yeah, the Hoosiers having trouble getting behind De La Mater's serves. 3 straight service aces, and it doesn't look like the Hoosiers able to corral those. Sloppy on the returns, and that's 3
leads that they've had a lot courtesy through of Candela Alonza Cortheus.
Cortheus has been incredible in her time as a Hoosier. Puts her mark on the program forever. She'll be remembered in her 4 years as putting the Hoosiers right back into the competitive nature of the Big Ten as a senior.
The service error from De La Mater, after she got 3 aces in a row, gives the serve back to Indiana. Cortheus, the solo block. She can do it herself. Right on cue. Gets another point for the Hoosiers. Serving again, that one gonna be long for the Hoosiers from Left Ridge, and another service error gives the point back to Rutgers. It's 13-6 in the second set.
The Hoosiers switching around personnel. Out of the game goes Maddie Sell. Avery Tatum will still man that front corner for the Hoosiers. Been so great today defensively.
Boland's serve dug out across to Cortheas. It wasn't exactly where she wanted it, but able to tip it over, and Candela Alonso Cortheas can do no wrong today for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, just reaching out her left arm, as you can see, and dinking it onto the floor. Again, Cortheas, so solid for the Hoosiers.
Avery Tatum will serve now for Indiana. That one goes long, and another service error on the Hoosiers. If you want to find a negative in this one so far for Indiana, it'd be the service errors. That would be, I believe, their fourth service error so far in this one. And they're still up 14-7 here in the second set. Byzantine on to serve for the Scarlet Knights. Throws it high and fires it. Dug out. Krichkovic in the middle will give it up to Victoria Gray, who finds the floor and gives Indiana another point. Stretches the lead to 8 here in the second set.
Look at that. Krichkovic finds her right there. And Krichkovic, number 4 in the Big Ten in total assists. She's just been incredible so far this year.
Setting up these big players for Indiana, and that's another block for the Hoosiers. Jaeger was there. I think she got her hands on it. Indiana up 9. And now Cortheas will serve. That one's in the middle, blocked by Gray. Still alive for the Scarlet Knights. Again, Jaeger. It hits the pole, and it's a point for the Scarlet Knights. It looked like Hardison may have been in the area. Jaeger got her hands on it, but couldn't direct it to stay in bounds. It's 16-8, and Hardison will serve. And she can't get it over. A service ace for the Scarlet Knights. If they want to have a chance this second set, they can't have those.
No, service errors can really kill all the momentum that you can get in volleyball. Obviously another game of runs, but when you're down by 9 points, you cannot have a service ace.
Freeman, serve was handled, and then another block. The Indiana block showing out in this second set. It was Sell and Jaeger who were on the block. We'll get a look at who got their hands on it. It looked like it was Jaeger. And Freeman continues her serve. The hometown kid. Across and with fire to the floor. Garvey gets the point back for Rutgers.
What a way to rise up for the Scarlet Knights. Garvey going from that far side and switching courts. Getting the point for the Scarlet Knights, obviously still down 9. Big deficit to claw back from, but the Rutgers Scarlet Knights still showing energy in Wilkinson Hall.
The thing about volleyball players, they will not give up. Cortheas has it dug out. Now in the middle, that one's gonna go long. No touch, and another point for the Hoosiers. They're up by 10 now in this second set and are looking to run away with it if they can. The serve goes back to Krichkovic. That was Byzantine in the middle who just sailed it a bit high. Krichkovic with the service error, and the point goes back to the Scarlet Knights. Both teams with a little bit of struggle with service errors. 3 for Rutgers, now 6 for the Hoosiers. They've been playing well enough outside of it to have these commanding leads. But serving now is Wilcock. Dug out by Jaeger. Krichkovic in the middle. Cortheas. And it looked like possibly a net touch. But nonetheless, the point goes the way of the Hoosiers.
again, great play by the Hoosiers. Now just 5 points separate them from taking a 2-0 set lead here in Bloomington.
20-10 lead. Exactly, and you watch Kričković get that 1,000th assist, and now keeping it alive but can't get it back over the net. Can the Scarlet Knights? And that counts for the service ace for Jaden Jaeger. And she's going to come out, and coming in, another freshman, Charlotte Vinson, joined the team later in the season. Had a big health scare. Happy to see her all right, and now on the team and serving with fire, and cannot be handled. A service ace for the freshman Charlotte Vinson. She throws it high and has that spin to bring it down, and it's hard to handle with all that speed. She goes again, that time dug out. Across and blocked. Cortheus denies Rutgers. Indiana with a 13-point lead in the second set. It's 23-10.
Well, Vincent doing a great job on the serve. A high looping, powerful serve from Vincent.
She goes again. This time it's a free ball for the Hoosiers. Kričković over to Tatum, and it's out of bounds, and the point goes to the Scarlet Knights. Vincent will head out, and Rutgers trying to tread water here in the second set, where Indiana has been absolutely on fire. It's 23-11. Serving is Delamater. She had 3 aces in this set already. Kričković over to Tatum. That one inbounds, and the Hoosiers 1 point away from a second set victory.
And again, everybody standing here at Wilkinson Hall, potentially for the Hoosiers going up 2-0 early here in this match.
Leftridge will be serving for Indiana. That one up high, but handled. Easily dug out by Leftridge. Kričković in the middle. Cortheus out of bounds. And Rutgers stays alive. They did a good job on that serve to keep it up, and they get rewarded with the point.
Cortheus just so close to blowing the roof off of this building. The Hoosiers on a run here at the end of the second set, playing some great team volleyball.
Serving now, Boland. She gets it over. Cortheus kept alive by Tatum, and Jaeger's going to send a free ball over for the Scarlet Knights. In the middle, blocked. Still alive. Now another block. Rutgers keeping it going, though. This time, no block. Over to Cortheus. Dug out. Free ball for the Hoosiers. Kričković over to Cortheus. And this time she will not be denied. The Hoosiers win the second set 25-12 and take a commanding 2 to perform and execute. It'll be Rutgers serving to start our third set. It's Boland for the Scarlet Knights. Dug out. Kričković over to Jaeger, and there's just not much you can do about that. Jaeger flying above the block, putting it where there were no Scarlet Knights.
The true freshman, we've talked about her all night, but rising up, high pointing that ball and powering it into the center of the court.
Kričković will serve. That one gets over, dug out, across court. Zora Hardison strikes back for the Scarlet Knights. It's 1-1 here in the third set.
Well, Hardison, again, she goes cross court. She's had a great year so far for the Scarlet Knights. Just cannot corral it if you're the Hoosiers there.
And a service ace, this time for Byzantine. And Rutgers takes a 2-1 lead in the third set. Done a nice job here of not letting Indiana get big momentum like they did in the first 2 sets at the beginning. This one handled by Cortheus. Kričković to the middle, back to Cortheus. Free ball, and back down. Maddie Sell able to get her hands on it. And Indiana ties it back up at 2.
Well, Sell just using all of her height there to just reach over the net and dink the ball back onto the ground, tying this game back up at 2.
Jager's serve was handled. Going out wide was the tap. I wasn't sure if it took the deflection on the block or not, but it did go out, and a point for Indiana. And Jager will serve again as Indiana's back up by 1 after Rutgers took a 1-point lead. Dug out by Byzantine. The hit goes long in the middle for Hardison, and Indiana stretches their lead 4-2. Hardison just sailed that one, and Jager was one of 2 Hoosiers who were close to touching that one before it went out. Jager's serve handled by Byzantine. Diving against the table to keep it alive was Bolin, and now Cortheus makes it all for naught. Indiana gets the point in the end, but great effort from Bolin and Byzantine to keep it alive for Rutgers.
That was an excellent point there. Scarlet Knights and Bolin putting her body on the line for the ball there, and the Hoosiers ultimately getting a point. That's great college volleyball in the Big Ten.
Miscommunication, almost a collision, leads to a free ball for Indiana. And Tatum, the block, sends it wide, and Indiana gets another point. That could have been a bad collision there. Looked like it was De La Mater and Bolin, but it actually stayed up, and it did lead to a free ball that Indiana capitalized on. 6-2 Indiana lead in the 3rd set. Jager's serve, dug out quickly and blocked. Maddie Sell, solo mission, and another point for the Hoosiers, 7-2.
Maddie Sell, the 6'3" senior, rising up there and getting the block at the net. The Hoosiers looking to pounce early here in this 3rd set.
Jager with the service error gives the point back to Rutgers, and that's been where Indiana has struggled today. Probably about the only place they've struggled. That would be their 7th service error. It's 7-3 now, Indiana lead. That one just couldn't get over the net. That one, Cortheus, it's kept alive. An incredible play there from Jackson. Krichkovich can't handle it, and Rutgers gets the point in the end, but it looked like that one had no chance. The Scarlet Knights didn't let that second chance hurt them. They went to the next play and got the point back at 7-4. That serve can't get over the net. Another service error for the Scarlet Knights. Hardison not happy about that one. Gives it back to Indiana. They're doubling up Rutgers here in the 3rd set.
Well, when you have your backs against the wall like the Scarlet Knights do right now, you cannot have service errors, especially being down in set 3.
Lethbridge's serve sails long, and another service error, number 8 for Indiana. And again, if you have one thing to take away negatively for the Hoosiers in this one so far, it would be the service errors. Rutgers has 4 of their own. It's 8-5. That one dug out by Jager. Krichkovich over to Tatum. No chance. The block just not there for the Scarlet Knights. Avery Tatum with another kill. Puts the Hoosiers up 9-5.
Well, and Tatum just powers up her arm there for that hit and just drills the ball right back down to the floor.
Tatum served there. That one blocked all by herself. Victoria Gray having a night in front of the net. Another block. And Indiana doubling up Rutgers again, now 10-5.
Gray is the leader in blocks on this Indiana team and sits right now at 18th in the Big Ten.
That is not where Rutgers wanted the set. Not much that Tara Garvey could do with it. Tried to send it across to get over the net, but it didn't. And Indiana's up 11-5 in the 3rd set. Tatum continues her serve. That one drops in. All the way across Garvey, deflected. Easily handled by Jager, and Krichkovic tries to go quick on the second touch. Instead, can't get it over the net. The timing not there. Maybe she didn't realize how far from the net she really was. Nonetheless, a mistake from Indiana, and Rutgers gets one back. They're back within 5.
Yeah, Ryan, I think you're right there. Krichkovic just looked to speed it up and ultimately didn't get the ball over the net.
Well, serving now, Wilcock. And cannot be handled by Jager. A service ace for Rutgers and Lauren Wilcock, the graduate student from Mendham, New Jersey. 11-7 Indiana lead now. Wilcock this time handled. Krichkovic over to Cortheas. That one a little high, but handled by the Scarlet Knights. And now over the block and out of bounds, deflected off of Smith. And Rutgers gets another one back. They're back within 3, trying to crawl their way back into the third set.
Well, yeah, the Scarlet Knights have a lot of momentum right now as a team, but still playing from behind. Got to get something to happen here.
See if they can crawl out from the hole they've dug. Jager to Krichkovic, now Cortheas, another high set, kept alive. Back to Cortheas, this time the set was there. Deflection on the block slowed it down and it found the ground. Indiana's up 12-8.
Well, Cortheas changing the speed there originally, dinking it over the net. On the rebound, she powers it with all of the force she can onto the ground. Hoosiers lead by 4.
Cortheas' serve dug out by De La Mater. Cross court, deflected and down. The kill for Mira McCool, the redshirt freshman, making a mark now in tonight's match. Back to serve is De La Mater. Had those aces in that second set. This time Jager able to dig it out. Krichkovic in the middle to Cortheas. It's blocked but down on the Rutgers side of the net, and another point for Indiana. It'll be Freeman coming in now off the bench to serve. Another one of those freshmen. She's made an impact in her first season at IU. Her serve handled. Smith digs it out, and then Jaden Jager goes cross court to the middle of the floor and gives another point to the Hoosiers.
Well, Jager, like you just mentioned, she switched up the sides of the court with that hit there. Going cross court just really messed with the Scarlet Knights there. Hoosiers lead back up to 5.
14-9, Freeman still serving. That one, Vinestein had it, but Rutgers can't get it over the net. Cornhuskers coming to town. You can catch that on Big Ten Plus on Saturday. Freeman will serve. Nice dig there. It's going to be a free ball for Indiana. Freeman gets to Krichkovic, cross court. Sell couldn't get it down. That one deflected, kept alive. Krichkovic in the middle to Cortheas. That one's it was close on the line. Krichkovic over to Jager. It's deflected out, and Indiana wins after a great rally from both squads. Great effort from the Scarlet Knights and the Hoosiers. Indiana prevails in that rally.
A great rally, like you mentioned, but ultimately Jager, the true freshman, wins the battle, and the Hoosiers are in prime position right now.
Freeman's serve was hot, hard to handle, but Rutgers did. Now in the middle, flying dug, it goes out of bounds, and a point for the Scarlet Knights. That was Aspen Maxwell, who made it hard on Indiana and gives the point to Rutgers. It's 16-10 here in the third set. Bolin will serve. Handled cross. Cortheas, my goodness, riding the near side line and finding the ground for another kill. 17-10 Indiana.
I mean, the way she rises up there and just tiptoes down that line, finding the point for the Hoosiers. they're definitely on a victory course right now.
Krichkovich's serve set not quite there for the Scarlet Knights. Krichkovich over to Tatum. She goes short, and a nifty move gives her kill number 301 on the season. We just mentioned she passed that milestone. And now Indiana 18-10, looking to close it out here on Thursday night. Krichkovich deflected off the net, but gets over. Cross court, Maxwell, that's going to be a lift. That one was behind her. And Indiana's up 9 now, 19-10, and they're smelling blood.
Well, this lead for the Hoosiers at one point in this third set was just 3 points. The Hoosiers now making it a 9-point game here in set 3. All the momentum, playing like a really, really firmly built team.
In the middle, Maxwell can't get it by Sell. Now Tatum blocked. Rejected by Byzantine. The senior makes a mark here in the third set. That is an emphatic block on Tatum. That's 19-11. She'll serve now after the great block. She fires it and it cannot be handled.
Talk about heat. What a serve.
Thursday night volleyball.
Well, the senior's just been so good this season and throughout her 4 years here at Indiana.
Jager's serve handled, goes across. Maxwell, it's dug out. Cortez will give it back to Jager in the middle. That one deflected, slows it down. Now over to the near side. That's blocked, but it looks like maybe a net touch. And it is going to go the way of the Hoosiers. I wasn't sure if that one was going to go against Indiana or not. And nonetheless, Indiana's up 21-12. They're just 4 points away. It looked like that was a touch on Tara Garvey. Now back into service, Vinson, and that one goes long. She thought she had another service ace, but instead, point goes back to Rutgers. It's 21-13.
Yeah, it looks like the Hoosiers are using Vinson as almost like a relief pitcher. Coming in to serve, Vinson obviously has a whole lot of strength she can put behind the volleyball there from the service position. But Steve Aird, he definitely has a trick up his sleeve.
That one did not take a deflection off of Tatum. Tatum looking over at the bench. They're not going to challenge it, it looks like. And the point goes the way of the Scarlet Knights. It's 21-14. That serve goes way out wide to the right. And Indiana gets another point. It's 22-14 now. Just 3 points away from closing this one out are the Hoosiers, and the Scarlet Knights just trying to stay alive.
Well, the Hoosiers can feel it. They have all the momentum here in Wilkinson Hall. Behind the home fans, the Hoosiers have been so great this year at 9-2. 3 points away from potentially improving to 10-2 on the year.
That serve dug out, now near side. That's going to take a deflection, making it easy for Jager. Over to Krichkovich. Now Tatum goes short. The dive is not quite there from Bolin. And the little tap from Avery Tatum puts the Hoosiers within 2 of closing this one out.
The 6'2 senior, Avery Tatum, joins the club on this Hoosier squad with over 300 kills in today's game. And she's just been so solid, Ryan.
Siegel's serve goes long for another service error. That's service error number 10 for Indiana. There have been 6 for the Scarlet Knights. That's one of the only things that the Hoosiers have been able to do wrong tonight. And it's Bareilles to serve for Rutgers. Allie Bareilles, the senior from Rochester, Michigan. Her serve dug out by Jager. Across and out of nowhere, Victoria Gray puts Rise to their feet. 24-15.
Match point in Wilkinson Hall. The loudest it will get today. Hoosiers a chance to improve to 22-5 on the year.
Into serve is Jessica Smith. Smith serve finds the back corner. A service ace gives Indiana the win in the third set and the win in the match, 25-15.